Listen to what you said once in an interview. This was in Onion last year. The more you work with technology, the more stupid you realize it is. You get these really weird questions from people like, how does it feel now that technology has caught up with you? What is this, a trade show? I never thought of what I was working with in terms of technology. In other words, you don't think of it as anything other than...
one of the tools.
A tool?
Know, yeah.
Like your voice, like your face,
It's
like...
voice, a tool, and face.
Your brain. Something you
brain
employ.
Is a tool. Yeah.
Well, your brain is a tool,
yeah,
isn't it?
I guess.
You employ it to...
Hammerhead kind of thing.
Well, no, you employ it to...
To,
you know,
work for you.
To work for you. Yeah, you make it work for you.
I'm trying to think of not working, you know. I'm trying to think of, like, because...
What is not working? I mean...
Well,
see, the problem I have with that is that, I mean, so much of what people call work, I don't think is work, because I mean,
right.
you know, or what I do, which would be defined as work, is not work. You know,
yeah, it's
like reading about you to prepare for a program, or sitting here talking to you is work by the definition of what most people define as work. This is what they pay me to do, but it's not really work. I mean, how could you?
You don't do that 8 hours
characterize
a day.
Well, I do it a lot.
Do you?
No, I do more than 8 hours a day. More than 8 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah,
sure.
I do more than 8 hours of something a day.
I do too. It's not just, I mean, I don't know what not work is. I mean, I guess not work is walking in the park. But then you're thinking when you're walking in the park. And you're probably thinking about something that has to do with your creative, you know, either something that's about your creative life or something that's about your love life. One or the other.
Well, that's...
And it may be the same.
I decided to
lucky.
make walking my work, actually, because I'm doing a project for French radio of
radio?
Of an audio diary.
Yeah.
And
well, meaning what? Every day you
record
send
things
them a
every
little
day.
diary piece?
I record things every day, and then I'm putting them together. And
So
then
like
I was
today you
going
go
to,
home and say I went over and talked to Charlie Rose. And,
yeah, and I'd have little clips of, you know, like on a
audio.
hidden microphone and stuff.
oh my God.
I don't have
You've been recording.
I'm done with that project, but I decided that when I was done, because when you're doing a diary, you have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow, so there's no plot, like your life. You know, you don't. There's no dramatic order to your life. It just happens. So I thought, well, it's kind of like a walk. And so when I finished it, I thought, well, I'm just going to walk to Paris. So I was in Milan at the time. A little problem with those Alps. So, but the real reason I wanted to do that.
Yeah, a little problem with what in Milan?
The Alps.
Oh,
you
the
know,
Alps.
Alps were
the mountains. Yeah.
on the way
Right.
to Paris.
Right.
But I thought that, like you're saying, like think of an idea and then just kind of walk that. So it's a whole series of walks that I'm doing as my work.
Yeah.
But the real reason I wanted to walk to Paris was because I was trying to think about how to be free, because that's really the only thing I care about now.
Being free.
How to be free.
Free
Learn
from
to be
what?
free. Learn to be free from my prejudices, my patterns, my ideas of what I think is good or bad. You know, just try to not to just, you know, react to them automatically, and to like try to open my eyes and see what I'm really seeing, not just what I think I'm going to see or what I think I should be seeing, but what I really see.
So be free from distraction, distortion, and...
Yeah, and my own sense of where I think I should go, because goals to me are like, you know, I was living my life like, you know, the carrot and donkey thing, with you kind of like bribe yourself along the way and think, you know, if I just get over there, then it's all going to be great, and then you get over there and you get you know, you've achieved your goal, but then there's another one. So anyway, I tried to think of not behaving in this goal-directed way. So I thought, how can I be free as an artist, as a person? So that's why I decided on these walks. And walking to Paris for me was about thinking about this French idea, really, of freedom. It was also annoying to me that a lot of people in this country are talking about the founding fathers being God and country guys, and not remembering that, in fact, you know, these guys were reading Voltaire and Diderot. They were men of the Enlightenment.
I'm not sure all of them were, but some of them were.
Quite a few of them, yeah. They weren't all writing God into the Constitution,
yeah.
You know, as sometimes we're told that they weren't. So I thought, well, you know, the French Revolution didn't end so well, let's say.
Depending on what side you're on.
Yeah. In many ways, it kind of fell apart. But they did have this idea of liberty and freedom And it was
That
an
was the
incredible
idea.
idea to
Yeah,
have.
everybody
You
had.
know, no one was really thinking about that.
Legality.
And so I thought, well, maybe I'll try to think of that as I walk there. And so, anyway, not as a pilgrimage, because that was more of like a goal-oriented thing, but, you know, like Rimbaud, the poet,
Yeah.
was, he wrote beautiful things about walking and freedom. And he was always running away as a kid to Paris. You know, it was like, get me out of my small town Charleville, you know, run to Paris. And the big
Does
city.
Paris serve that for you? Is Paris a place to get to?
Well, like I'm saying, I'm trying not to have a goal,
Yeah.
but just to think of how it feels to pay attention. So that record is, for me, a way of paying a strange kind of attention, because it does put, you know, I hadn't listened to this stuff for a long time, and I listened to it a couple days ago, and it's gorgeous, you know. I mean, it really is, and it's not music that's being made today. You know, I was thinking that it wasn't going to feel like it came from another world, but it does.
Another world.
Another lost world of, you know, that time.
Is the NASA thing over?
No, you know, it's going on. And,
You're the artist in residence, is that what you are?
Yeah, and it's the greatest job.
Why?
Because, you know...
They have goals at NASA.
Well, yeah, like the greening of Mars, that's a 10,000-year project. That's a
big
goal. That's
yeah.
a big goal.
Well, they got some water, so they can go.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is so
It used to have
inspiring.
some water, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and the other things like, you know, build a stairway to the moon, more or less, with nanotubes.
Yeah.
What a great project! Walk up to the moon, glide on up there. No, I find that really, really thrilling. You know, no, it started with. They called me up. This is maybe a year and a half ago. It said, you know, we're from NASA. We'd like you to be the first artist in residence at NASA.
Why'd they choose you?
Well, that wasn't my question. I
No, what was your
basically
question?
said, "What? You're not from NASA, right?"
Right, exactly.
And they said, "No, we are." And I said,
What does NASA mean then?
well, they said, you know, I said, well, what would an artist in residence at NASA do? And they said, well,
That's why we want you to tell
we
us.
don't know. You know, what do you think?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to go.
You know, they're smart.
They're
smart
too,
guys
yeah.
there.
Bring them in here, let them define it
You
for us.
decide.
Exactly right. This is called 1979, New Music, New York. As I said, everybody from Philip Glass and many, many others, Laurie Anderson. Say hello to Mr. Reed.
I will do that.
We actually saw him. I know he's waiting outside, so I can't wait to go out and say hello myself.
Great.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Laurie Anderson, thank you for joining us. See you next time.